today's PLC agenda. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are on our plan stage today, so we're going to look at what we want our students to learn and how they will learn it. Before we start, let's just review our norms. Remember, we're going to follow the 10-90 rule, 10% problem, 90% solution. We're going to compromise and come to a consensus in decision making, making sure that everybody's opinion counts. Equal and active participation using our personal strengths. We're going to be prepared, which everybody is today with their data, thank you. And we're going to respect background and experiences. So today we are looking at our exemplar 4 and our jobs for this meeting. I will be your facilitator. Brie, you are our timekeeper. Ms. Leith, you're our spirit leader. Keep us going. I will be in charge of our agenda. Neil, you're in charge of our norms. Make sure we stay on task. And Ms. Gagliardi, if you'll take notes, that would be great. All right, so to this meeting today, you were supposed to bring exemplar 4 and make sure you had gone through it, taking it yourself so that we know what our students are going to come across. Were there any questions that stood out to you as you were going through it that either you remember from last year or that you came across here that you feel the students might struggle with?
Yes.
Okay. Which question do you want us to look at first?
Well, there was a few, but the biggest one that stands out to me is question 10.
Question 10. Oh, that was huge.
Because it's asking them, well, first of all, it's just, they have to find the area of 3 different ones, the perimeter of 3 different ones. And then the numbers, it has them doing 3-digit times 3-digit, but our standards go to only times 2-digit. So right there, I just feel like there's an issue. And it's just, there's so much to it, I feel like they're gonna lose stamina by the time they get to number 10 too.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Extra steps.
Yeah.
So definitely not in the standards. 3 by 3, according to our sheet, was not listed. We have multi-digit, but nowhere in the practice within our IG is 3 by 3.
Now, it doesn't do, what does it say for
Benchmark is,
up there? It just says multi-digit numbers. To
Oh,
the hundredths, using estimation, rounding, and place value. So to the hundredths, well, that would be a
That-
3, but it only usually, but in all of the practice, it does it 3 by 2.
2.
So we just need to be careful to make sure that we're doing hundredths on both of the numbers.
So
yeah.
as we're teaching this, we need to make sure that we pull in those 3 by 3s, or with our, in our enrichment groups, make sure with our higher students that we are pulling problems like this in, because that is a level 5 and some of our kiddos, but I want to give everybody a fair chance.
Yeah.
So looking at that, we need to make sure that we are teaching the 3 by 3 or bring that to the district's attention that it shouldn't be that high.
I wonder if a multiplication of whole numbers was 3 by 2, and now with multiplication of decimals, it goes to hundredths. Maybe
Yeah.
that opens it up to 3 by 3, so I think we need to ask for clarification.
On that.
Well, and then
And
just making sure too that they remember the formulas for area and perimeter, because it's just a lot.
lot.
Like, by the time they get to number 10, I'm just afraid it's a
It's
lot.
a long test.
Won't those be
It's
available on their
exhausting.
reference sheet this year?
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah,
I think that
we
is
read about
something we could
yeah.
start exposing them to the reference sheet and have them
Yeah.
use
Maybe
that.
provide them that
Yeah.
while they're taking it.
Yeah,
And, yeah.
Any other tips or suggestions of how, like, Chris and I could help organize this problem with our kids? Because having the intensive classrooms, they're gonna see all these numbers, all these words,
yeah.
It's overwhelming.
overwhelming. Maybe, I don't know if we do 3 sticky notes, I don't know if we have them draw 3 boxes.
I mean,
I
I think we
think-
have to keep in mind it's a level 5.
5, it is.
Yeah. But they
So,
should still be exposed,
Goes
because
to
then
it.
if they see it, but you know,
They would
like,
feel successful, I'm sorry to interrupt.
go ahead.
No, you finished, sorry.
No, I was just thinking that in the leading and learning last year, and I think it was with ELA, I mean, and I think it was in that, just in time or one of those. Remember at the beginning, they had that thing where like they cut and they cover the answers?
Yes.
Like maybe actually having
Have
them
it.
cover the answers,
Answer.
because you're
Pull
right,
it up.
just the words itself, I feel like are gonna be overwhelming. So maybe have them
Cover it.
Yeah, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I just was thinking, I know they'll be successful with perimeter. So
Yes.
maybe just looking at it and going it step by step and saying, take the first one, do your perimeter, you know what I mean? And then if they go baby steps.
I
Yeah,
think
'cause-
they're able to be successful at area and perimeter. it's just overwhelming. So I like your idea of covering this up and maybe even training them to, okay, A, let's do area perimeter of A, draw a line, area and perimeter of B, and have all the information to where then they can
You
go
compare.
back and forth. But just the back and forth, this is a lot.
a lot.
It is.
It's
And
hard,
they-
and it's
they have
it's
to-
hard.
And you know what, I don't know about y'all's, but I am having such a hard time getting mine to work in an organized way. They do scratch paper.
Mhm.
So then if everything looks like scratch paper, they can't even track what was, what was what, so.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry,
No, go
can
ahead.
I offer a
Yep, go ahead.
suggestion to that?
Yeah,
Because
please.
one thing that I did after the last test that we gave is I started teaching them test corrections. Because I know in middle school and even with Kendall in high school, they get graded on their test corrections. And so I started doing it with them for this one, and I took each problem and I told them, your paper needs to look like mine, all the way down to the number of spaces I have in between each problem. I need this organized, I need you to understand that we are going to find out why we missed this problem through your test corrections. And so I did just through the level 3s, because that's kind of where we were on that. It was amazing to me how many of them got it by doing the problem that they did wrong
Yeah,
and actually learning how to organize their paper.
okay.
And I
That's a good
found
idea.
that like on the next time that they did an independent problem, many of them were already more organized, just keeping it on the lines and making spaces because they had never been taught
Right,
to do
right,
that,
right,
so,
yeah.
I don't know.
All right, I'm
That's a
gonna
good
give you a
idea.
sticky note to add to your test, and how could you organize that for your group of students? So take a minute to write down what would work best in your room and how would you organize it with your group of students?